Hey Magic fans, it is time for us to take a little look at what I got out of that gift bundle. But wait, there's more. I've also gotten a couple of set booster boxes and had to go through those as well. So get yourselves ready. We're going to take a look at some cards. I'm going to show you a little bit about what came in the boxes that I got, as far as what kind of value you can expect. And it's going to be a wild ride. I got some really awesome stuff. Come on with me and we'll take a look. Hey everybody, welcome back. It is I, the Sorting Sorceress, and we are going to have a look at what kind of awesome cards I got out of the Magic gift bundle that I opened for you guys earlier in the week. I got some really awesome stuff. I cannot wait to share it with you. And as an extra treat, I got a hold of those 2 set booster boxes that I was talking about. Pulled some really awesome stuff from that as well. And I thought it'd be really fun to take you guys on a quick little journey of what I got out of the boxes in terms of value for what we spent. We're going to get real about this. We're going to talk about what it costs versus what I got out of the box as far as value. But again, you got to remember, I'm coming at this from a different angle than some people might be coming at this from. Because for me, it is all about collecting the Magic cards because I love them and I love the game, passionate about the game. I love Lord of the Rings. So as far as I'm concerned, pretty much everything that I got out of these boxes is awesome and is valuable to me, whether there's really a monetary amount associated with that or not. So let's have a look. I'm going to bring this down to my close cam here. And I thought it would be fun to give you guys a little bit of stats on things that I got out of that gift bundle box. So probably the most important is we got ourselves the One Ring, which is pretty awesome. And remember, I was talking to you guys about those white packages that came in the gift bundle box, right? Those white packages were not unique to me. They come in each one of the boxes. So if you got yourself a gift bundle, you're going to find this in there as well. And it was by far the most valuable card that I pulled out of there, which is super cool. So as of right now, again, snapshot in time, these fluctuate all the time. But as of right now, this One Ring card is running at about $47.99 in terms of value. So looks super cool. In my humble opinion, it is a shiny foil. You know, you're precious. It has to be shiny foil. Next, remember I said Nazgul is where it's at in this deck, and this is the Nazgul that we pulled out of the deck, and it right now, this version is sitting at about $19.71 in terms of value. Next most valuable card that we pulled out of this is the Last March of the Ents. And this is very cool because it is a sorcery that can't be countered. That is always awesome. And draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures that you control. Come on, guys. That is crazy good. And this card right now is sitting at $16.24. Something to talk about, I think we might have hit on it just a little bit in the last video, is that you'll notice value-wise when it comes to cards, at least it's kind of been an eye-opener for me since I got into Magic. When I'm first looking through the cards and I'm looking to see what I pulled out of the box, I always find it fascinating to go, okay, I think this card is super awesome. So, and it's mythic and it's got to be very cool and it's probably super expensive. And 9 out of 10 times, my judgment is so far off when it comes to that, right? Because at the end of the day, the things that are running high dollar value in these boxes are things that are seeing a lot of competitive play. They are staple cards that are being used in decks that are winning on the Pro Tour. They are staples for commander decks. Anything that can be used in those type of buckets are the cards that are going to generate the highest dollar amount that we're getting out of these boxes. So just something kind of fun. If you're like me and you're going to crack open some packs, make yourself a little pile of the stuff you think is super cool and you think is probably expensive, and then look them up afterwards, because it is always very interesting to kind of see what happens with that. So that was the top $3 amount cards that I got out of here. What I also wanted to show you guys, because I do think this is pretty slick, and let's see if I'm talented enough to do this upside down, but I forgot to talk about this in our last video. Magic is doing something very cool with this set, and it'll be interesting to see if they do this anymore in the future. But some of these full art borderless cards that you're seeing in here, you can actually put together as a cohesive scene. I think this is genius. And again, depends on what you're going into Magic for, right? Because if you're a collector, I see a lot of very cool emphasis on this. However, when you think about building a scene, like, you're probably going to want to put it together, like whether you're going to like frame it or something like that, and then that kind of takes you to a totally different realm of, now I'm not going to play with these cards if I'm going to frame them. So do with it what you will, but I do think this is super cool. So take a look at this. This is the 4 key cards that came out of that gift bundle box. Again, these were not unique draws. These came in those white packs that were set. And take a look at this. Isn't this sweet? We got Frodo and Sam and Gollum and the One Ring, the Precious, and they're seen at Mount Doom. So I think that is pretty slick. Now, coming up in the future, I believe in the fall, we are going to see several sets that are going to be released with this that are going to be small, I guess we'll call them vignettes, right? So they're going to have a small collection of cards in them, and the cards in that are all going to be borderless art cards that are going to be put together like a poster, like one image from the movie. The art is amazing. And for that matter, if you guys haven't watched the Wizards of the Coast, Lord of the Rings kind of preview video that they put together for this set, with Elijah Wood talking about how cool this is, it is well worth it. And it'll show you in that video what some of those scenes are going to look like and the way the cards go together. It's very cool. Again, depending on what is important to you in Magic. If you are a collector or you are just a huge Lord of the Rings fan, it might be totally worth it for you to pick up something like that down the line and put it together kind of as a display piece. You could frame it, put it on the wall, whatever. Do with it what you will, but pretty cool stuff. So let me shuffle these off to the side for us. So again, I guess I didn't really talk about value and dollar amounts with this gift box. So that gift box, I paid, I don't want to tell you what I paid. We're going to say what it costs right now because I bought it before the One Ring was found. Right now you can buy these gift bundle boxes for about $124 online. And at the end of the day, there were 34 cards that were rare or mythic included in that bundle. And again, those are the cards that are always going to carry more value than all of the commons and uncommons that you get in there. And that was those 34 cards. And I went ahead and I only counted things that were at least $2 or more, because if you're going to try to sell these on a secondary market, again, not what I do with my collection, but if you're going to do it, by the time you put shipping and all of that together, if you're going to try to send the card off to somebody, if you're not taking it to your local game store, it's going to cost you more than it's worth to send out those ones that are lower than $2. So at this point, then we ended up with those 34 cards being $112.82 in value. So a loss, yes. Depends on how you look at it. Again, in my opinion, I won. I pulled a Nazgul, which I thought was super cool. And I love those 4 cards that make the scene. And I like everything that I got out of there. They're going to see lots of play. They're important to me. So I think it's pretty cool. And it is a win, in my humble opinion. All right. Let's talk about set booster boxes now, right? I am going to bring up a close cam. Now again, I cracked these already, so this is a little less dramatic in terms of what this is going to look like for you guys. But again, when you acquire a booster box, you're going to get a box that is going to be this size. It is going to have 30 magic packs in it. And I will tell you, as a person, I guess this is the part, kids, where we talk about addictive personalities, right? So cracking packs of Magic is essentially the same as going to a casino, right? You have to make peace when you buy your cards that you are blindly buying these packages of cards. You don't really know what's going to be in them. They may be super awesome and expensive and way more value than what you put into it, or you might be making your donation to the casino, right? So essentially, you kind of have to approach this from the same angle. So depending on what you're trying to do, whether it just be acquire a bunch of cards, if you're just getting started, build your Magic collection, trade with people. Like for me, it's always been about building my collection. I'm like a neurotic collector. I love to try to see if I can get as many as possible or all of cards in a set when something comes out. I don't go to the point where I have to go out and acquire every single one of them, but I kind of try to keep track, and so that's what's important to me. But since I started playing the game, the most important part to me is that whatever I get and I'm trying to accomplish my goal, I then have all of these extra cards because you end up with multiples of things. And remember, I said you can only run 4 copies of something in a single deck. Granted, you might have one deck that uses white in one format, and then you might want to make a commander deck that also uses white, and so you can have, use another one of those cards in that sort of manner. So it's not like it's a bad thing to have more than 4 copies of something, but when you find yourself with 12 copies of something and you don't really have to have that much, I was able to share with my kids. I now have gotten my grandson totally into the game, so he loves it as well, so I share my duplicates with him. So kind of the world's your oyster, and it's what you make of it, right? So just kind of think about that with what you want to do. But that said, cracking packs is seriously fun. You never know what you're going to get. It's a surprise every time. It's like Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates, right? You never know what you're going to get. Same thing with a booster. So for a set booster box, and again, this is what I was talking about when we talked about our last video. Set boosters is what I like to buy because draft is really meant for when you are sitting down to play a game where you are drafting Magic, to do that, to get the certain type of cards and make sure you're successful in that. But this is what your box is going to look like. Now, I've already gone through these. We're not going to show everything because everybody has been spoiling cards in the set like for an eternity now. But again, what I thought was going to be very interesting, at least hopefully for you guys, is to talk a little bit about the things that I pulled from the box, what the box costs, what kind of value we have in there. And so I have stats together for us too. So remember, I told you I had 2 boxes, right? So this was box 1. And to be fair, which I think is kind of cool, box 1 was not as cool as my box 2. Like it was, if I could have done it in a different order, I couldn't have done it any better, right? So first cool thing is that I bought these boxes from one of our local game stores, which is great. Shout out to Frontline Games, great people, beautiful store. They're in Clarksville, Tennessee. That's where we are. And when I went in there to purchase my boxes, they were running a promo. Now, to be fair, by the time this goes out, that's probably over with because when they cracked into it, I got the last. They had 5 boxes left. I took 2 of them, so there was 3 at the time, and they were running a buy a box promo. So when you buy a box of cards, you got a special promo gift card with it that is a alternate version of an existing Magic card. So this is what we got. Pretty awesome. So Lorien Brooch, which in other Magic terms ends up being Trailblazer's boots. And you can see on here, this is an equipment artifact, and equipped creature has non-basic land walk. What this means is anybody that you're playing against, if they are running any non-basic land, so a dual land, an artifact land, anything that is beyond just your regular mono color, you automatically get your damage through. They can't do anything to block this. It's pretty sweet. And in Commander, this is very, very important. But anytime you can bounce these artifacts around on things, it's pretty cool. So it's pretty nice that we got this alternate card. Really cool art, borderless, foil, nothing to not like about that. So, additional stats that we have for us here. Overall, these boxes that I bought from the store, I paid $170 a piece for, okay? Again, my money, this is totally not sponsored. This is just Dawn's craziness and what I do when new magic sets come out. So I got this buy a box promo. Right now, these promo cards are valued at like $1.33. So not tremendously fancy or anything, but hey, it was a free card, right? I was spending the money anyway. I'll never turn down a free card. So the next thing that happens is in these set boosters, they now do a box topper card. And I should have planned better to put this one aside. So here we go, got it. So when you first open your box, there is an art picture on the top and there is a single pack kind of stuck to the top of it that has one card in it. You never know what this is going to be. It can be a very high dollar card. It can be just a cool alternate art card, and it may have no real value at all. It could be a piece that you're going to see a lot of gameplay with. It might be something that just looks nice and you're not really going to do anything with it. So what I got out of this first box is Medusa, Golden Hall of Edoras. And so it is very cool. It is a land. It is mythic, which is nice. It is not especially valuable in this particular instance. Value was sitting right around, I didn't even write it down on this. Oh no, I did, $5.86. So, you know, hey, better than a fork in the eye. Something that you'll definitely see gameplay with too, and it is borderless, it's foil. I love everything about that. So again, I consider that a win at this point. Then we get into top 5 things that we pulled out of the box, right? And so this is where it gets extra fun for me. So in this box, remember I was very excited about my Nazgul in the gift box, right? So I did pull another Nazgul actually out of this box. In fact, pulled 2 Nazgul out of this box. So what's even nicer is that they are 2 different Nazgul, because remember I told you can run 9 copies of these guys up to there. So there is different art patterns on all of these. They're all valued different dollar amount. So I thought that was pretty slick. And I thought it would be fun right now to show you guys the top 5 dollar amount cards that we pulled out of the set. So number 1 and the most value is Mr. Nazgul here. This version, he is sitting at around $19.71 right now. Look at who it is. It is the man, the myth, the legend. It is Sauron, the Dark Lord. He was actually, and he's slightly less valuable than some of these Nazgul right now, which is crazy to me. We'll talk more about that in a second. So Sauron is sitting at about $18.78 right now. Next, we have another version of the Nazgul. Notice different art than our first guy here. A little less valuable. He's $14.48 right now. Still tremendously great, in my humble opinion. Next, we have Aragorn, the Uniter. And again, remember we said there is multiple versions of all of these main characters in here, and some of them, I almost hesitate to say most of them, do not carry a lot of value. It bothers me a little bit. Bill and I have been talking about this, and for as passionate as we are about Lord of the Rings and the heroes and big name villains in these sets, like I would think some of these guys would be like the super heavy hitters, and they're kind of not. It's very bizarre to me. Gandalf is a big winner. The version of Sauron is a big winner. This Aragorn is a good card, but there are other versions of Aragorn that are like, it's kind of sad to me. Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, they're just not super valuable cards. It bothers me a little bit. They're valuable to me because, again, I told you, it's important to me. I love this stuff, so it is what it is. And lastly, we got ourselves a legendary artifact, and this is Mithril. And the Mithril coat is sitting right now at $8.36. So overall in this set, we did pretty well. Again, remember I said $170 for this box of cards, and there were 81 rares and mythics that came out of this set. And that total dollar amount for the cards that are over $2 is $139.38. So again, a loss, depending on how you look at it. Again, there was nothing that I was unhappy with in this box. One of the things that is actually pretty cool, and which just goes to show you how kind of wild this is, and this is why I like sharing some of these kind of stats with you guys. Typically in the booster boxes, you tend to find between 5 and 7 mythics kind of scattered in a box. Sometimes you'll have a box with less, sometimes you'll have a box with more, but like that's usually kind of the sweet spot. There were 9 mythics that I got out of this box, which I thought was pretty awesome. But again, it's interesting that you would think that this is a box that carries way more value then, because we got 9, which is more than you typically find in here, and yet the dollar amount on the box versus what I spent ends up being less. So again, it's kind of all a wash. You never really know how it's going to shake out, but interesting nonetheless, right? Okay, so how about we shift over into our other box? And this is where things got extra interesting right out of the gate. So again, box number 2, again, $170. That is, I bought them both at the same time, so kind of even playing field. So it is kind of fun to do 2 at the same time just to see how widely different things are and kind of the way it looks overall. So again, got the same buy a box promo because that is what they were running. So I've got myself another lovely Lorien brooch. But this is where it got crazy because my box topper for this one, I was really excited when I opened it because I had not seen this and I had to like look it up, which is always kind of fun because I get that extra excitement. And this is what we got out of here. We pulled for our box topper the Party Tree. And not only is this an absolutely beautiful card, and it is a legendary artifact with a completely awesome stack of goodies that you can perform within this card, but this card is valued at $66.58. So before I even got to cracking any of the regular packs, any of the 30 packs in the box, I got myself a card worth $66. So what is not to love about that, right? Plus it is an awesome card. I'm pretty excited to get it into some gameplay. So go me, that was a win, right? It's not the 1-of-1 ring, but I'm not gonna complain. All right, so next, I wanna get us into our top 5 that we got out of this box. So, I got more Nazgul in this box, which is pretty awesome. And I got myself a foil Nazgul for one of my first ones in here. So followed by that Party Tree, this is my next most valuable card out of this box, which is sitting right around $22.78 right now. Guess what number 3 is? It is, yep, you guessed it, it's another Nazgul. And you'll see this is exactly the same art as the foil version. So it's, of course, going to be valued a little less, but still pretty good. So it is a $17.62. And then we got ourselves a Gandalf the White showcase. And again, I don't know what you guys think about how these showcase cards look in the ring, but they're beautiful, and especially to me, if you don't go overboard with how many of these you are running in a deck, they just look elegant, right? They just feel like the game. I love seeing the Elvish on there. Like I think they're pretty awesome. So I was very excited to see this one. So this showcase version of Gandalf the White right now is valued at about $14.89. And then, to compare and contrast, we also got the non-showcase version of Gandalf the White, which is very cool because this is probably one of the best cards that are running in this set right now. And it's Gandalf. What is not to love about Gandalf? And so he is sitting at just less than that showcase version of the card at $14.26. So I would say this was a huge win for a box, right? So value-wise, first of all, super awesome cards, but value-wise, we did a far better job in how much these cards are worth, just in the small handful of cards relative to what we spent on the box. So I think that's pretty awesome. So for some overall stats and for comparison's sake, I only got 6 mythics out of this box. So again, well, 6 mythics and then the box topper, which in this instance is also a mythic, but I didn't count that because it wasn't a regular pull out of the box. So 6 mythics. In that last box, got 9 mythics, plus the box topper, which was not a mythic in that instance, but very, very interesting to see. Because so again, by the rule of logic with, you would think more mythics would be more value in terms of dollar amount that you're getting out of it, but it's not. One thing kind of has nothing to do with the other. You're kind of at the mercy of what is seeing play, what is very cool, what is in high demand, and that kind of makes all the difference in the world. So out of this box number 2, there were 82 cards in it. So only one more than the previous box in terms of rare and mythics that were included in here. And the value of just those 82 cards, and remember, I've got these whole stacks. I'm going to try to pick one of these up without dropping these all over my desk. These are all the rest of the cards that you get in a booster box, okay? You get a serious amount of Magic cards, and this is how you can just like, bam, launch a collection if you are new to the game. But just those 82 cards came in at $220.82 right now. So right there, without that whole other stack of cards, and there is value there, it's just less than, there are a lot of things under $1 in those cards, but still, that is well over the $170 in the box, that we spent overall. So I'd say huge win, right? And especially since we did 2 boxes, yes, it was a loss on the first box, but a gain on the second box. So at the end of the day, kind of probably have a bit of a wash, but I couldn't be happier with the things that I pulled out of the box. I would love to hear what you guys are thinking of the set. If you're excited about it, if you're disappointed in it, what do you think of all these alternate art kind of style cards? Like, I am a huge fan of these borderless ones, and most of them carry not much value at all. They're valuable in that they look super cool. Again, rule of cool, they will look exceptional in your deck, great on the table every time you're going to play something, but they don't necessarily carry a lot of monetary value. But I'm really looking forward to those extra sets that are going to be coming out in the fall, that we can put those beautiful cards together as an image. But again, I'm already struggling with the fact that I'm going to want cards to play with, but I'm going to want cards to display. So does that mean I'm going to have to buy 2? So I can use one to put together in a frame and hang somewhere here in the game room, and then use the other ones to play with? I don't know. I guess we have time between now and then to figure out what that's going to look like. But thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope this was fun and you guys find this interesting. Please let me know if this is something you would like to see more of. Please let me know if you would like to see more of the actual cards. Again, I just didn't want to do the whole video in displaying all the cards right now because everybody's been showing these cards since well before the set has actually dropped. But if that is something you would like to see more of, I am happy to do that. Let me know in those comments. Thank you again for spending time with the Sorting Sorceress. Happy sorting, and I will see you again in the next one.